Will encryption be broken by the U.S. government? FBI director creates unhackable device, and hey, get Quicktime for Windows off all your machines now. All that and more coming up on ThreatWire. Greetings, I'm Patrick Norton, and this is ThreatWire for April 20th, 2016, your summary of the threats to our security, privacy, and internet freedom. A big thanks to all the folks that make the show happen by contributing to patreon.com/ThreatWire. People, do yourself a favor, remove Quicktime for Windows right now. Did you know Apple no longer updating Quicktime for Windows? Did you know that Trend Micro's zero-day initiative has discovered not one but two new critical vulnerabilities affecting Quicktime for Windows that could be used to compromise machines? Now, while Trend Micro knows of no active use of these exploits will never be patched and, quote, Quicktime for Windows now joins Microsoft Windows XP and Oracle Java 6 as software that is no longer being updated to fix vulnerabilities and subject to ever-increasing risk as more and more unpatched vulnerabilities are found affecting it. The U.S. Security Emergency Response Team is spreading the word. You should too, right after you remove Quicktime from your Windows boxes. By the way, Trend Micro's zero-day initiative is pretty cool. They buy vulnerabilities and work with vendors to fix problems, or in this case, spread the word that the problem will never be fixed. Darren found an interesting read on NPR's The Two-Way blog. Let me start with this quote. I saw something in the news, so I copied it. I put a piece of tape. I have obviously a laptop, a personal laptop. I put a piece of tape over the camera because I saw somebody smarter than I am had a piece of tape over their camera. That's not your mom, it's not your Uncle Wilford, it's FBI Director James Comey, Mr. Absolute Privacy Hampers Law Enforcement himself, speaking at Kenyon College, who probably should worry as much as anybody about malware getting to his webcam, given that we know that the FBI uses such tools to gather intel on suspects. Is Comey breaching his own nothing should be unhackable stance? I mean, he's guaranteeing no video surveillance from that laptop. Christopher Segoyan, who I personally follow on Twitter and love his work, had this awesome tweet next to a picture of rolls of tape. Quote, I spotted this warrant-proof anti-lawful surveillance of webcam tech at Staples today. What if terrorists buy it? Look, it's a good question, especially as the Two-Way points out Comey was talking about how, quote, the public should demand to know how the government conducts surveillance, demand to know how they're overseen, how they're constrained, demand to know how these devices work. It's nice to know the FBI director has concerns, especially given that in the wake of the FBI's battle with Apple, his agency seems ready to compromise encryption and privacy for everyone, and as a matter of fact, has some pretty powerful allies in that direction from the U.S. Senate. I know you learned about this last week, but I gotta say props to TechCrunch for an amazing Venn diagram illustrating what the Compliance with Court Orders Act of 2016 will mean for encryption in the U.S. Notice how the two circles don't intersect? That's because encryption will fundamentally be made illegal if this actually goes through. I am embarrassed to say that Senator Dianne Feinstein is from my home state of California and that she is vying via the Compliance with Court Orders Act of 2016 to make all encryption breakable on command. She's working hand in hand with Republican Richard Burr, the chairman of the Select Committee on Intelligence, which makes this all nonpartisan stupidity, really, across both aisles, all the stupid and really, really bad for computer security and for actually finance and the nation as we know it. Seriously, computer security, done if this goes through. I bring this up because a collection of groups sent the honorable senators a letter today. TechCrunch summarizes it pretty well in Tech Coalition's penned open letter to Burr and Feinstein over bill banning encryption. The groups include the Reform Government Surveillance, the Computer and Communications Industry Association, the Internet Infrastructure Coalition, the Entertainment Software Association, and pretty much, well, between those groups, every major player in technology is represented, like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, eBay, Facebook, Netflix, so many more. It is doubtful that the bill will pass, but do yourself a favor. Call your senator, call your congressperson, express your total lack of support for the Court Orders Act of 2016, because assuming it'll get killed by Congress or presidential veto, it's a little more trust than I'm comfortable with. Let's work hard to get it killed now. Our featured comment on YouTube today comes from JJ Ness, who in response to last week's ThreatWire, bad luck is sad luck, and a new anti-encryption bill, says, quote, disappointed that part of the ransomware discussion wasn't a single suggestion of having a proper backup policy. Or proper, since I don't think popper is actually a word we use when we're backing things up. Shannon posted a great response, pretty much the same one I'd have made. JJ Ness, good point. I should have mentioned that as well. We've discussed proper backup on Hack5 and Tech Things several times in the past, so I guess this show is next. Look, part of that, I want to amplify one thing. Remember, make sure there's an air gap on one of your 3-2-1 backups, as in it's not online, it's not on a network, it's not in a PC, and don't open that backup with the machine that was compromised until you have killed that machine with fire and rebuilt it, because it's embarrassing to plug your one copy of your unransomware data and suddenly have it ransomwared by the machine you've got. The word oops comes to mind. Seriously, thanks for the comment, JJ Ness. It is an excellent reminder. And if you have any thoughts on today's show, drop them right down there in the comments. Thanks to everyone who supported the show so far on Patreon. You are keeping the show coming completely independent and ad-free. If you can't donate, a like, a share, or a subscribe go a long way too. But seriously, if you find value from ThreatWire and you can spare a few cents an episode, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/ThreatWire. We may even feature your adorable fur babies like these ones in our next episode. You can find all our episodes, links to our social networks, and other ways to contribute over at threatwire.net. And with that, I'm Patrick Norton, and I'll see you on the internet.